Now I am. All right, yeah, so today we are talking about fitness, okay? We don't preach that CrossFit is the only way for people to get fit. What we preach is for people to find something that challenges them, that they're okay with doing, and continue to evolve that challenge because the body kind of gets used to a certain thing. Um, in order to get the most out of a program, you need to be challenged. So when it comes to our 5 components of health and fitness, we always say, evaluate where you are with your fitness, your nutrition, your rest and recovery, your hydration, and your mindset. Okay. When we talk about fitness specifically, and our goal is longevity. How can we use our program to give someone the opportunity to live the longest and healthiest life and be as proactive as possible? Because in order to achieve a long and healthy life, the physical body needs to be up to speed in these 4 categories. Okay. And this is based on our years of coaching, CrossFit, what we've researched. So this kind of comes specifically from RAD and just research, right? So for your body to live a long and healthy life, okay? And we're not talking about, mindset and stress. We're just talking about the physical body, right? You need cardiovascular endurance. You need to be strong. You need actual lean body mass, and you need a strong mental capacity. Okay. And we firmly believe that CrossFit helps in these areas. Okay. And the way that we do it is through constantly varied functional movements, operated at high intensity, using your mental fortitude to get through these workouts, and a strong community. Okay. So we'll go over each part right now. Constantly varied. When it comes to CrossFit, you come in and you've probably been participating, you've been doing CrossFit, and kind of like see what's going on, but you're like, what is this? How do these workouts even come together? How do I know I'm not going to hurt myself? There's a method to the madness. And this is kind of a snapshot into the method behind the madness. When it comes to constantly varied, it means that every day you come in and the workout is different. Okay. And we have 3 modalities. We have 4 areas of the body, and we have 5 training types that we do to vary it. Okay. So if we talk about the modalities, we use cardio. So running, rowing, jumping rope, ski erg, biking, anything to get the heart rate up is considered cardio. And we could consider, we were just talking about this with Arlie, if you're doing burpees, a cardio movement. If your heart rate's getting up, we're looking to challenge your cardiovascular abilities. Weightlifting, okay? The weightlifting is done mostly with the purpose of breaking down muscle tissue so that your body responds to those demands and rebuilds bigger and stronger, okay? And gymnastics in CrossFit, we're not talking about glide kicks. We're talking about just body weight movements, learning how the body moves, which is good that Arlie brought up the question of, am I doing the burpees right? It hurts my hip, okay? And we figured out that she's hinging so much at the hip that we need to try to achieve more of a neutral, hollow position to save the hip joint from bending so much, okay? And that's really, when we talk about gymnastics and CrossFit, we're talking about moving the way that your body is designed to move, okay? So those are the 3 modalities we use. So every time you do a CrossFit workout, think of a movement, it falls in one of these 3 categories, okay? So if we're talking about this specifically, we're not just gonna program a cardio day every day, you know what I mean? You might have cardio day, 2 days in a row, but it could be paired with a weightlifting movement one day. It could be by itself the next day, or it could be paired with all 3 the third day. So when you come in, you'll just see, like, we could be doing weightlifting a few days in a row. Maybe one day is just weightlifting. So there's a lot of variations you could do with just the modalities, okay? Where we talk about the body, and avoiding conflicting movements, we have upper extremity and lower extremity. Okay, so a lot of times when you're doing these metcons, you're going to be using upper and lower extremity, but there may be a push or a pull, um, priority. So on a day where we're doing pull-ups and rowing, that's all upper body, pull, and legs, because you're driving with the legs too. So that is taken into account. Sometimes you'll see the row paired with a burpee. That row burpee interval workout that we did the other day is a test specifically because it's a pull push, right? You're pulling on the rower and you're pushing. You can go as hard on the row as you can on the burpee because they're not conflicting within that workout. You're pulling and you're pushing. Okay, so that's why it's kind of a really good test to see what is your upper body pulse and cardio abilities. So, you won't see us do deadlifts 3 days in a row because that's a lower body pull from the ground. You might see heavy deadlifts once per week, and then maybe you'll see like a clean 2 or 3 days later, but it's lighter, right? And that's where in these muscle groups we can vary the weights, make it heavy or lighter. Okay, so that's, you take the modalities, you take the muscle groups, and you just make sure you're not conflicting all of that. Adding to that, how we do it. Okay, are we looking for an aerobic challenge where it's just more oxidative, where you can go through the workout kind of like a 20-minute jog, and you can have a conversation, you get your heart rate kind of uncomfortable, but you can stay there at a steady pace? Or are we looking for a more anaerobic where it's like a shorter 10 to 12-minute workout where we're saying you shouldn't be able to talk comfortably through this. You should really be trying to get as much out of it as possible. And both can be achieved. Both can be achieved with intervals, time, and task, right? So aerobic and anaerobic are kind of like the bigger category, and how we do it could be a time-oriented workout or a task-oriented workout or intervals, right? So an intervals purpose is to get your heart rate up, get control of it, get your heart rate up, get control of it. A time-oriented workout is where you know how much time you're going to be working, but how much work you're going to do is unknown. And a task-oriented workout is where you know how much you have to do, but the amount of time it takes is unknown. Okay. So this is the first component of what CrossFit is. It's constantly varied, right? And why is it constantly varied? Okay. Your body, and this is where we circle back to talking about the body. Your body is designed to be challenged, and it will respond to the demands you put on it. So if you are the type of person that is a couch potato, and I know none of you are that sitting here right now, but we are recording this. So if you're listening to this and you're a couch potato, I'm talking to you. If you're a couch potato and, your only activity is when you maybe get up and walk around, when, or to get more chips or, whatever, or if the remote's on the other side of the room, you have to go get it. I'm obviously joking around, but this is a serious problem for some people. Your body's smart. It will say to itself, well, this is all we have to do. We're going to do enough work, you know what I mean, to keep this body doing what it needs to do, right? It's not going to go above and beyond, unless you, the person, challenge it, right? So we have to actively seek out challenges to make sure that our bodies are able to respond to the demands. So if we go back to the couch potato, if all of a sudden, they're inactive, they have a poor diet, but one day they have to run to get up the stairs to help someone do something, they're challenging their body in a way that they never have done. Or if you have to run really fast and maybe you like pull a hamstring or something like that, since you're so inactive, the body's not ready for that, and that's really why the varied portion is there for CrossFit. We want to make sure that your body is ready for the unknown and unknowable. Okay. So that's the constantly varied piece. And I can continue talking about that, but I will stop. Functional movements, okay? We have movements that, and we were talking about this again with Arlie, our body is designed to move a certain way. And when you come to CrossFit, you're going to learn how to move properly. Everyone has, you know, different movement patterns, but essentially the way that a body is designed to move, the way the joints are supposed to move, we use those natural movement patterns in our program because they're safe. Okay. We train muscle groups rather than specific isolated muscles. And isolating the muscle does have its place in a fitness program if you have to rehabilitate from an injury or if you have a weakness in an area. But you won't see us doing bicep curls for reps. You won't see us doing leg curls or bicep curls for a max load because that will put too much stress on that specific muscle, right? If your body moves safely, you could do reps safely, or a high amount of reps safely. If you're moving safely, you can lift a heavy load safely, okay? And that's because they're compound lifts. You're lifting with muscle groups rather than one specific muscle, okay? So if we talk about the movement series that we have in CrossFit, we have 3 major series. It's the squat, the deadlift, and the shoulder press, okay? I've added, and those 3 movements are kind of what's really not harped on, but taught, and really the CrossFit seminar teaches these movements to us. We RAD have added an emphasis on the pull-up because we talk about upper body pull and push. It is spoken about. We do talk about the movement, but you know, the essential movements are the 3 movements in CrossFit. We're just saying for upper body, we have a pull-up and press. For lower body, we have a deadlift and a squat. This way we can understand push and pull, upper and lower, right? So for the squats, we have air squats, front squats, and overhead squats. And if you've been with us long enough, you know you've done all of these types of movements with a barbell, a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a medicine ball, a crazy object, a friend. we make you squat things, right? We varied the squat, okay? Deadlift series is the deadlift, the sumo deadlift high pull, and we include the snatch and the clean in that pulling movement also, okay? The snatch and the clean are very unique. They're Olympic lifts. They incorporate the entire body. But we here at RAD put it in a pull category. And for press, we have press, and push jerk. You know, and if we want to vary that too, body weight, push-ups, you know, we have, you know, and obviously we press, and push jerks, barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, medicine balls, whatever we've got, you got to press it. And then when it comes to the pull-up, it's a pull-up or a barbell row. And we have a kipping pull-up where it's more dynamic. So these are the movements that we have, and we can really use these movements as a foundation. So if you think of any movement that's not on this list or that I didn't mention, you can break it down to its core to one of these movements, which is why when you come to CrossFit, if you're struggling, we can modify the movement and make sure that you have a safe movement to its foundation, right? So if you can't air squat, or if you struggle to air squat, we decrease the range of motion. You can sit down and stand up, or you can lunge, or we can change the movement entirely, okay? So these are the movements we work with, and we work with functional movements, okay? So constantly varied functional movements at high intensity, okay? So up until now, we've been talking about constantly varied, which is really done in the programming. That's our job. We write the program, we make sure it doesn't conflict, and it's safe. Functional movements, that's our job. We want to watch you move and make sure you're moving safely. The intensity piece is what you bring to the table. Now, you can't come to the table without a deposit, and the deposit is consistency, okay? So on day 1, and sorry, we got leaf blowing going on outside. They're building a fence next door. Intensity is really important for you first to be consistent. We don't ask anyone on day one to come in and give us as much intensity as possible. We want you to come in on day one and learn the movements. So your level of intensity in the beginning is just to learn, right? Once you learn, you're moving well, then it's okay. Let's make sure you're consistent with the program. A month, 2 months in, then it's okay, intensity. Now, what is intensity? We're not asking you to scream really loud. Intensity is, if a coach tells you, okay, you can add 10 pounds to that lift you just did, you're looking good, add 10 pounds. Trust the coach. They're telling you to add 10 pounds because you're moving well and you can probably handle it. So go for it. That's increasing the intensity so we can get more out of it, right? If a coach is telling you, all right, on this run, you can go at a 7.5 minute pace, they're asking you to go faster, meaning you've been consistent, you know how to run, and we want you to go faster so you can get more out of this workout. So really, intensity is all about challenging yourself to go either heavier or faster as long as it's safe and you've been consistent. Okay. And what we're trying to do there is make the workout challenging. So the intensity piece is the variable that is controlled by a little bit by the coach, because we're here to push you, but it's also your responsibility to make sure you're pushing yourself. All right. Mental fortitude is the fourth component that we've added to our What is CrossFit topic. And it's really when you do these workouts, you are putting yourself in a state of stress. Okay. And it's a good thing because all of the signs and symptoms of stress they come up before a CrossFit workout. Got to go to the bathroom. You're irritable. You're sweaty. You have
butterflies in your stomach.
Butterflies in your stomach. You got to go to the bathroom again. 10 seconds. Wait, hold, stop the clock. I got to go to the bathroom again. That's stress. Okay. And what happens is you do the workout. Your body is responding to the stress by working really hard. And at the end, you realize it's safe, and at the end, when you realize it's safe, you kind of like, oh, so I was stressed over nothing. This workout wasn't so bad. Maybe it was bad, but you got through it alive. Right. So you're getting through that fear. And when you can do this over and over again in CrossFit, when you go out, and I noticed this first when I was doing CrossFit back when I started, was like going to school and teaching children was a little bit easier for me because I was like, oh, well, if I could get into CrossFit and like deal with that stress, like I can get through a day of teaching children. Like you kind of feel empowered, and that's how I felt like the first few years of doing CrossFit was like, I felt very empowered, and obviously the benefits of this are mental and cognitive function, and if you're able to put yourself through stress, when it comes to anxiety and depression in real life, you kind of have this experience of putting yourself through a CrossFit workout to kind of lean on as guidance when things are tough. I'm not saying it resolves stress, but it does help. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people can have a conversation about the benefits of the mental health benefits of exercise in general. We're not just saying CrossFit. When you challenge yourself in the gym, it is mentally beneficial, so the last component for us, it's really important, is the community. Our fear as humans, the biggest one is being alone for most people. And really having a place where you can go to and feel safe and know that no one's going to judge you. Everyone's going to high five you at the end and tell you did a good job, and you're all working towards a common goal of health. It's a really big component of what we do, and we know that. And that's like really the bread and butter of CrossFit. It's like you belong to a really cool tribe of people. And that's why the people that aren't involved don't understand it. Like, what do you mean you're hanging out with your CrossFit buddies? Like, it's just a gym. Why, you know what I mean? That was the biggest thing. Like when I first joined CrossFit Garden City and I saw everyone sitting around the coffee table talking after the workout, I'm like, don't you guys have to go home? Like, don't you have friends? You know, like in my mind, I didn't say it out loud, obviously. But then I realized like, these are their friends, you know, they're all tight. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, they must have known each other before they joined the gym. And you start talking to people and getting to know people, and you realize they met each other at the gym, you know, and it's a really, really cool thing, you know. And, you know, fast forward to Diana and I's wedding in Mexico, you know, when we have like a
half
bunch
of
of
our
the people that
guests
came
were like from the
from the
gym.
gym, you know, and that's kind of like, you know, people on the outside looking in are like, how does that happen, you know? And I can understand their hesitation there, because I did, you know. And you know, some of my closest friends are from CrossFit, and it's a really cool thing. And I can't over explain that. You know, we know, we all could talk about that for hours. So really that's the lecture component of today. And we'll just go back to what is CrossFit: constantly varied functional movements, high intensity, increasing mental fortitude, and a strong community. And it's like the mental fortitude aspect and the community aspect is really Rad's condiment on top of this what is CrossFit lecture. So what we could do now is just kind of like, if you have questions about the fitness aspect, about maybe even and I know Ernie's here, and I always throw him out there, but that mental fortitude part, you know, putting yourself through a planned state of stress and how it can be beneficial. For those of you listening, Ernie is a licensed psychotherapist. He can talk about this. I don't know if you have any points you want to share, but yeah, love this stuff. And I appreciate you guys for sticking and listening to me for the last, what did I talk straight for 20 minutes? Ernie, you got anything to say or share?
Yeah. So let's tie in everything Dan was saying with what's happening in the brain, and in regards to what's happening hormonally, and an increase in all the positive neurotransmitters, which are hormones for the brain. So exercise. The simple act of exercise will boost a steady state increase in the flow of dopamine and serotonin into the brain, and that's created both within the brain as well as different parts of the body. And as opposed to reaching for junk food or looking for other forms of stimulation that might give you a spike in dopamine and make you feel good for a short time, then you wind up crashing. Other aspects of exercise, the actual act of exercising for a duration of time that is typical in a CrossFit workout will increase. I'm sure everybody's heard about the endorphin rush and an endorphin high. There's also another component to that not too many people know about. It's called endocannabinoids. And that is more towards the idea of like a high or a runner's high. And both things are positive in lifting the mood and increasing or giving you a good sense of self and just a euphoria. Connection and community feeds the increase of oxytocin, which is called the love hormone. So in a sense of community, and it could be, you know, oxytocin could also be generated simply by looking at a loved one for an extended period of time, you know, having a level of physical connection to somebody. But within the Rad CrossFit community, there can be, after the high fives and the workout and you're hanging out and all that stuff, an increase in oxytocin, which builds the idea of belongingness, safety, and security. So on an overarching perspective,
we're rad.
It's rad. There are no downsides to the entire experience.
Ernie, thank you so much for that. And honestly, I think that we need to, Dan, if you could repost our podcast that we had with Ernie, like a few, I don't even know how long ago it was, but I think that was probably one of my favorite podcasts that we spoke about. We spoke about like happiness and how, you know, like our brain when we're working out, you know, releases all these hormones and endorphins and all of these things. And if you guys have an opportunity to re-listen or listen for the first time to that podcast that we did with Ernie, I think probably like 2 years ago, Ernie. I mean, that's so crazy because I feel like it was just really recently, but definitely 2 years ago because of COVID.
Like, yeah.
But it was such a good podcast. And it really does help tie in, you know, what working out does for you and how like it stimulates all of these things for our brain. I think we were specifically talking about anxiety and depression, and Dan spoke about his panic attacks on that one. So it's a really good podcast. We'll reshare it with you guys.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ernie, for
cool.
all that fun science stuff. I like the sciencey part of it.
Yeah.
Get all geeky. Yeah. Don't do that to me. I'll geek out on you guys.
Yeah. Does anyone have questions about any of the stuff we just talked? Because, you know, we've got a really good resource with Ernie here, and I'm always putting him on the spot. But, you know, any challenges you might experience when it comes to mental fortitude or, you know, anything in general?
I just want to add, I love that podcast. I listen to it like once every couple of weeks. It just gives me a boost, and it's got like some great information in it. So I like to listen to it all the time. It's on the RAD website that you guys have. So, but it really helps you realize how you can get from exercise things that I used to get from like other things, like bad things to eat or, you know, bad things to do, whatever. So it's a great podcast. I just want to make that comment. I love it.
Thanks, Diane.
Awesome. Cool.
Oh, Kate's gonna
looks like Kate's unmuting herself.
You didn't unmute yourself.
I wasn't gonna, but my camera was falling. I was trying to fix it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, but honestly, it's so funny. I'm like this. I didn't know this was the topic today, and like Ernie, that's so cool. I didn't know that that's what you did. And thank you so much for sharing all of that. But it's really amazing because you know you said at the beginning that I really started with the nutrition piece, and I was really afraid to work out. Like I don't know, this kind of stuff I never even thought about doing. And I just remember, like, after I started working out, those first few weeks in, I took a week off and I was so unhappy. That whole week, I was like, what's going on? Why am I so stressed? Why is my anxiety so bad? And when it occurred to me that it was because I wasn't working out, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And now I, like, don't ever want to take time off. Like, I always want to go because I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I love that, Kate.
Awesome. It's so crazy.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It might be time for a new podcast, Ernie.
Now we've been working on that for like it's 9 months now.
I know, but I'm the one that like sets the date, and when I leave it to Dan,
like,
it just.
If you look at my calendar right now, it says Ernie and Dan at 8:30. We didn't talk. every Sunday we're supposed to talk.
I'm on it, Ernie. I'm on it. Give me this pen. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna put a Post-it on me.
We need to reconnect again.
Yeah, no, but you know, and that's why, like, when it comes, and this is the last thing I'll say because it's Sunday and you know I want you guys to enjoy your Sunday, but when it comes to us being able to help people, you know, we have done this before and we've messed it up, but we have tried to just eliminate ourselves out of everybody's journey because you guys are all in different spaces, right? So when it comes to, you know, we've known Kate for a very long time. And when she first came to us, it was more nutrition based, right? And we can help everyone in different avenues if we're really just focused on their journey. Because we know that at the end, it will all kind of tie in together. So I'm really happy for your journey, Kate, because I know like working out was not in the cards at the beginning, but I knew that if we were just patient, would all work itself out.
Yeah.
I'm glad you knew because I didn't know.
Yeah, well, the journey for most people that we've coached since we started coaching people in a garage in 2012, everyone starts with either nutrition or fitness, right? And once they get going, they see the benefits of doing one or the other, but like when they combine the two, it really enhances the mental experience, you know. So you know, we don't, like Diana said, everyone's where they are in their journey. Some people start, and the majority, not the majority, but there are a lot of people who start with mindset, from working on themselves from within, and they eventually get to nutrition in their body, right? But I think that when you combine, you know, the fitness and the work on the self, the managing of stress, it's like a drug, like Ernie's saying, but a good one, an empowering drug.
Yeah. All right. If anyone has any other questions, let us know. And if not, happy Sunday.
Enjoy.
Good. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.